So it's important for me to make a video on this, what's going on the day after reading this book. The day after reading this book that I just finished. When I was asleep last night, I don't know who's responsible for doing this and torturing me, but what they're doing, they're shooting some sort of laser, some sort of machine and frequency device on my forearms, and it's causing me to press against my body, and they're watching me sleep. So as I'm sleeping, I could be sleeping like this, just sound asleep, and they'll shoot these devices into my forearms that causes me to press against my body and like pointing the finger at me. What they're doing is they're trying to excuse and blame and put everything on me for raping me with this transgender and training me to believe certain things and do as they say under their command by subconsciously doing this while I'm asleep. This has nothing to do to blame anyone else, but redirecting this and blaming me for everything. Now, I couldn't explain much about this because they're shooting so many electronic devices. They just want to waste my life away. That's the only subject that this is about, is to throw my life in a garbage can, to make it purposeful for only them, to recycle to whatever their personal intentions are on my personal life. So I wanted to make this video. I don't know who's responsible. It's fucking crazy. And not only that, I woke up and I felt like I had nightmares. Like, I don't know what device they're shooting into my brain. I don't know what frequency or what it is, but I was asleep and I don't ever remember my dreams. I don't ever, not since I was in my 20s, but or my teens, but I don't remember any of my dreams. And when I'm asleep, I woke up like I had several nightmares and distraughted. I don't know who's doing this, but they're training me like a dog and like an animal to do, and they train me to be obedient to their God, to their worship, to exactly as they say. That if I don't do as they say, then I didn't believe in God and I didn't do what they said. So I need to make this video. You can see they shoot something very slightly into my nostril to make me point my finger and point it into my nose to make it personal. So I want to say this because the President of the United States is directly doing this and torturing and doing this crazy shit. Now, I'm already a cancer patient. I've already gone through many diseases, have murder attempts that have been assigned to me to have me planned out to be murdered. I was covered in blood showing up on my front doorstep. Now, this is very frightening, and I say this because it's being plotted out against me. And it does make me fear of my own life of what these people are doing. So I wanted to say this, that they're brainwashing me very intensely by physically abusing the shit out of me with these electronic devices. Every morning I have to wake up and they press this electronic device and they make me shit, and then I get done shitting, and then within 30 seconds they press it again and they start pushing the shit out of my guts again once I walk out, or once I get done and wipe my ass, they press it again and I have to force to sit down. They say, no, you shit there. And so I talked to somebody a couple of days ago. I don't know who it was on the hospital billing department or something. And the person was antagonizing me, telling me, no, you shit there. And so they practiced my death and they practiced my terminal cancer diagnosis the day it happens, so that they can sacrifice me and get rid of my life to nothing more than a garbage disposal, trash can. These people are murderers of what they're doing. There's no reason. I know that down the road, far down the road, or sooner than later, it can happen. But there's no reason to put me in that situation. It's because they want to get away with what they did and the horrors that they did to me. And it upsets me in ways that I can't even explain, that somebody is crazy enough to do this and think that this is being that this is okay to do to a person. That I'm not obeying by their rules and their religion, and therefore I have to suffer for it and be persecuted for it and be punished. And when I don't go by those rules that they say, then what they do is they train me by making me shit. And they keep, every time, all day, throughout the day, probably at least a minimum of about 40 times a day, and I'm not exaggerating, 40 to 30 times a day, they shoot an electronic device at me that makes my muscle tissue twitch. And all it does is they shoot it, and it makes the muscle tissue twitch, and it's just like a whiplash. It's like I tell you what to do, I tell you what to do, you do what I tell you to, obey, get down, stay down, and that's what they keep doing. And so I become very submissive to any religion, spiritual, obedient, all rules, everything, to the most deepest of personal things that you're doing, getting undressed, wiping your ass, using the restroom, taking a pee, taking a shower. I was taking a shower yesterday, and the second I turn in the shower, I'm grooming myself and I'm about to start shaving to keep myself, to keep myself clean and in check. I don't have nothing going on, and they start flickering on the lights off and on in the bathroom, like they're watching me naked. And I know this sounds really horrible, but I thought I needed to say this because this is nothing but a murdering, planned out joke to what these people are doing. I know that terminal cancer diagnosis can happen to me and I'll die, and it's a very serious and nasty thing. But what they do is they practice that to put me in that fear state of mind, and only to put me there, because they don't allow me to have any quality of life. And I thought it was important for me to make a video on this. Like, I just got on the phone yesterday or earlier today. I'm studying here. They're shooting something in my brain. I just got done on the phone trying to find an apartment in Dallas and calling the Dallas Housing Voucher, which is the DHA, Dallas Housing Authority. And when I was calling them, they're transferring my call, and every person I call nearly on the phone, they're having impersonators. They have actors. The people that pick up the phone act and portray themselves exactly to the people that I've known in my life. Person that I just spoke of at this apartment at this Dallas Housing Authority pickup number and it was portraying themselves exactly. I still don't know if it is Cisco's sister. I still don't know. I think it was. I still don't. I mean, I could be wrong because I only seen this person like once or twice. I ain't never seen them again. But I say this because they're getting these actors. They get them on the phone, and I start asking all these questions about, Dallas Housing Voucher, the transfers, the paperwork, how do I do it, what do I need to list, and all these different stuff. And so this person is on the phone, is portraying this girl that was next to Patricia Gadina as that's the person and that's the character and that's who I need to believe and think who they are. And so what they do is they file down any murdering things that, the truth is they were shooting an electronic device at me. I really don't blame anything very much of anything to this girl. I really don't. And when I did, I moved on from it a long time ago. But what they're doing now is they're exchanging these situations and these horrible things for other things that's going on in my family and other things that is going on with other people. So I wanted to make a video on this, that I don't have any blame. As frustrating as it did make me in the beginning to say, this person could have said something, but she was very young, and you got to understand, it's not that. Somebody was controlling me using electronic devices, and the other guy was more highly responsible, even though I also have to blame myself for making those actions. But no one listens to the story for me to tell you how bad and how tightly I was being threatened many years, and got 40 tickets from the police department, and being threatened by co-workers and bosses and managers, and acting very hostile and crazy toward me. That is why they do it. That is why they do it. So I wanted to make that video very clear that this seems to be nothing more than a joke. The same way that I don't feel comfortable going to a doctor's office, because every time I call them, they're wishing me and planning me death. Every single time I'm calling them, they're like, yeah, are you ready for it? You think you got enough time for it? And they start getting attitudes, and they start saying things and wishful death sentences toward me. So I wanted to make this video of what these people are doing. It is an entire gay community that's responsible for doing this shit. For any portion of what this girl, this straight girl, they want to blame that. They want to blame it more on that girl or anything because she's straight and not some faggot and some transgenders that were responsible for doing this. So I wanted to make that video that, I understand not every person, there are some different gay ones out there. There are different homosexuals. They just have a different sort of character and a better judgment of idea, understanding. They're different. They're very seldom, but this is an entire community that's doing this, the gay community, and it's a persecution against me. So whoever's doing this over the phone, there's a lot of things that y'all don't understand of what they're doing to me. You have no earthly idea that every morning I wake up, every phone call I make, every phone call that comes in, people are calling me randomly all the time, and there's no one that's picking up the phone. The phone calls are literally, I say, hello, is anybody there? And nobody's answering, and they're calling me. There's dozens of phone calls that are doing this. I've called 15 different places in Dallas, and I literally can tell, you can hear them on the phone, that these phone calls are being rerouted to a call center. All of them are. When you call an office, when you call a hotel, when you call any place in Dallas, a restaurant, anything, people don't know who I am. And I understand the procedure when you pick up the phone, whether it's a restaurant, thinking that you're picking up an order for something, what that sounds like, what they're supposed to sound like. Every person I pick up the phone call knows exactly who I am. I'm not kidding. I don't know how they're doing this, but they're rerouting, and then the calls won't even go through. So I thought I would make this video to let y'all know about kind of what's going on. It's very frightening, the fact that they're using, because I'm literally asleep during the sleep, and I could feel, literally, I had my hands tucked in between my legs like a lot of people do, just kind of sleeping, and I sort of have to wake up because I can feel somebody pointing, pressing, my fingers just doing this, pushing, like I'm doing this, like on a keyboard, or like doing this on like typing something. And they do this so that when I'm asleep, they're subconsciously doing this and brainwashing me and doing this. So I wanted to make sure that I made a video on this. This is absolutely violating to me what these people are doing. I just got done reading a book about a blonde girl, and that may have been why, a white girl. So, anyway, y'all already know I'm going to be removing all my tattoos when I get the chance to. Just one on my center of my chest, my neck. I'm going tattoo, no more tattoos. I'm getting rid of all nasty tattoos. So anyway, and that's my choice. But like I said, I wanted to make a video so, my voice can't express the suffering I'm going through or hear the distress, because feel so dull and numb to what they're doing to me. I'm so abused. Every 15 minutes, every 1 hour, they're constantly shooting an electronic device at me. It makes me twitch, and all it does is it puts me in that state of mind to be obedient, so that anyone can abuse me and do the nastiest things to me. I mean, I was on the bus the other day, and some transgender was reverting themselves. They live themselves as a male, and they're reverting themselves in his eye and trying to play themselves as Keynote, Kenneth Cooper at the radio station, and they're fighting platoon for him, this army against me. And they get me, and it was crazy as hell. It's exactly the way that these sexual molesters and rapists were doing to me when I was a kid. There was the same look, exactly the same. It was fucking disgusting. It was crazy. I didn't say anything, and he was just kind of trying to put me in hypnosis, and he kept on doing this, and he was like doing this like poison shit to me like I was a kid. So I want to say that these are the child molesters, and these are the rapists that are doing this. They send them on the bus to do this disgusting acts to me, and it's the president, and it's these people that are doing this on the phones, and the people that are training me, get on the bus and tell them to do this to me. And I'm always polite, I'm always kind. They don't want to have normal conversations, and a lot of these, I don't want to communicate with a lot of them, especially with that individual that did that, that's representing Kenneth Cooper and fighting for his family, and taunting my dad, saying, yeah, your dual daughter died, didn't you, huh? Because that's what my dad did when Marissa Miranda found out he died, or she died, many years ago. Y'all should know that story. I've already made videos on it, but he was taunting my biological father about his daughter dying. But making a video, it's hell what they're doing to me.